no money, that's an asshole. It wasn't a phase.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Senior Citizen Podcast, and we are here with
Scott.
Garbage
Crain.
Flight.
Garbage Fight, yeah.
Fight Flight. I feel like there was an L in there.
It's Garbage Fight.
So where did that come from? Kick off with that.
I turned that into my name because I was watching an episode of, what's that show? Parks and Rec. And Andy, at one point, they're like, they joined the garbage men on one of their jobs.
Right.
And he says garbage fight, and then it starts throwing trash around. And this was back in 2020, and it was just how I was feeling about social media in general at the time. So I changed my name to Garbage Fight, and I was really glad when it wasn't taken.
I love it. You should do Garbage Fight Official.
Yeah?
Yeah, like you're the official Garbage Fight.
I can get the blue check mark, so
There
I
you
can keep
go.
the name.
You can pay $14.99 for a blue check mark now. It
Yeah.
no longer means anything.
I think it's for suckers. I don't know.
It is. I'm not paying to be verified. But anyways, you're part of a bunch of different projects, so I won't even try to name them. I know we got Voodoo Elvis.
Mhm.
We got Monaco Slim.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit how those got started. Who are you hanging out with to do these projects?
I started Monaco Slim back in 2019, and it's good story. I was working the door. I was working as a door guy, security at a bar called Glitch in Fort Lauderdale. Not sure if
I
you've
went
heard
there
of
for
it.
my 21st birthday.
There you go. It's actually where we met.
Aw.
Yeah. So I was working the door, and people kept coming up to me like, "Oh, you're a musician. You should jam out with this guy Anthony. He plays drums. He's really good." So I was in a few different projects that weren't really going anywhere, and one day I was like, "Hey, you're Anthony, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Let's play some music." So before we even jammed out, I went to New Orleans on a trip, and I was just kind of like really digging the music there, like super bluesy jazz stuff, but like especially the blues. And I got back and we started playing music, and I was like, I kind of went into the studio with just kind of like, all right, let's see what this dude's got. And we just like clicked, I started playing some songs, and he was just yeah. And then
Chemistry was there.
yeah. And our horn player was also somebody at Glitch who I'd just let in the door. I opened the door for this guy for like a year, and we never spoke at all. And then we started playing, and just kind of came together. So
Oh, good shit. So you're a vocalist, but what else do you play then?
I play guitar, I play drums, piano, bass.
One-man band.
Yeah.
Okay. Did it naturally, because my brother is one of those people. My brother's a musician, and anything he picks up, he can just play. Like I tell him, you sucked all the musicality out of the womb before I had a chance to come in. Was it kind of like that for you?
Well, I started playing guitar when I was 10. And I had been begging my parents for like years, like ever since I can remember. Just music was something, especially the guitar. Like I'd see someone on TV playing guitar, and I'd be like, as a little baby, like
Hannah Montana?
yeah, pretty much. And my parents finally were like, okay, because they kept putting me in sports stuff, and it just wasn't happening. And I picked up the guitar, and here I am. My little brother picked up drums a year later. And so when he would leave, I'd go and play his drums. And then, yeah. But we were making music together from the time I was like 11 or 12.
So cool.
Yeah. And we've played in a band together as well called Sight Set. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
So I originally found you because of Voodoo Elvis. So I
Okay.
want to hear a little bit about that.
So Voodoo Elvis, I was doing a gig with my friend DC, who also plays in a million bands. He plays in a band called Obsidian, and Billy Doom is Dead. And we were doing a gig together out in Fort Lauderdale, downtown Fort Lauderdale, like just some brunch gig. at a pizza place, and
Yo, brunch is lit though.
I know, but I'm not like a morning person, and there's a whole routine to like.
Brunch is at like 2.
I know, but getting up and then warming up my voice, stretching, doing all the things I need to do so that I can perform,
Right.
And not injure myself or anything. So we did this brunch gig, and like we're taking a break. We're over at Fat Cats downtown Fort Lauderdale. We're having a couple drinks, and the owner of Poorhouse messages me, and he's like, "Hey, can you fill in tonight? Somebody dropped out." This was in June of last year, so I was like, "Hey, yeah," like, and DC, the drummer, was sitting next to me, and I was like, "Hey, like, I'm gonna play this gig." He's like, "All right, cool, let's do it."
It's literally like next door too.
yeah, exactly. And so we're like, yeah, but we need a name. And so we were just throwing names around, and we just came up with Voodoo Elvis. And I messaged my younger brother, Michael, because he's an idea man. When we were in a band together, he wrote the lyrics. So like, I was like, hey, is this a good name? He's like, that's a fucking awesome name. I'm like, all right, cool. And then it wasn't taken. I'm like, all right. So
you Instagram checked it?
I'm on my way. I'm trying to make a deal with Zuckerberg,
Yeah. No, good stuff. I wish I could pull out cool stuff like that right out of my ass too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I think like the Jameson was just like coursing through my veins, and it kind of helped it.
So it was the Jameson that did it.
Yeah,
not
yeah. We can
Okay.
thank the whiskey for that one.
All right. So, and you do vocal warm-ups. I know you're in the bio. It says that you're a vocal coach and everything.
I
so,
am.
Teach us a little bit. I want to learn on spot here. Like, how do you do vocal warm-ups?
So the first thing I do before anything is just like engage my diaphragm, and that's just like a lot of like breath work, stuff like that. And just even like a yawning, like that's one of the first things I show my students is just a yawn, because it relaxes your throat.
Okay.
And it also just like kind of fills all this up. And so I start with the breath work, and then I found this magical tool like a few years ago, because I was getting a lot of vocal strain and like vocal fatigue, because I work as a musician, just like doing solo acoustic gigs. And I'm singing for 3 hours. And so that adds up like over a week. If I play 3 or 4 gigs, that's like 12 hours.
That's a lot of strain, yeah.
Yeah, so what I found was something called a singing straw. And it's you basically just like hum almost, but you're singing, kind of not like ditching the consonants and just kind of just humming through this straw, and just doing it for like a minute, like you feel the difference. Like I did it like before I came here today, because I knew I was going to use my voice. Yeah, but it helps, it expands your vocal range, and like it's just, I tell everyone like, yo, check this thing out. It's called Singing Straw, singingstraw.com. They're not paying me to be here, by the way. Free plug.
But they
right
should
there.
be. Hello.
Yeah. So that's a huge part of my routine, just kind of running like vocal exercises, solfege stuff through the straw.
I feel like the diaphragm thing is a lot like when you're in a workout class and they're like, use your core, and you're like, I'm engaging, I promise, but you're falling out of whatever you need to do.
Yeah, like and a lot of vocal coaches will say that, like, oh, sing from your diaphragm, or like people that, and like, but no one really knows what that means, So my job is to teach people what that means, like like singing from your diaphragm, because there's a bunch of ways to sing, and like I think over the years from doing this, I've been playing professionally for like 9 years, and I think like my top priority is like sustainability. Like how can I do this like 4 nights a week without like,
that's a lot.
Yeah, without, because I've lost my voice before, and then I can't pay my bills. So
for the different types of way to sing, I sing for fun in the car by myself. And there's a lot of times where I'll walk into work at the office and I have no voice because I was just screaming in the car. And it gets emotional. Sometimes I'm crying and everything. I'm like, hold on, let me put myself together. Walk in my freaking 9 to 5, like, hi. Yeah, and my other coworker's the same way too. The other day she came in with a flat. The nail was about the size of her hand. And I was like, how did you even pick that up? She was like, I don't know, but I was coming and the car started tilting and I'm sitting there just singing along to my music. And I'm like, how do you not notice a
That was
flat
part
that
of the
bad?
song, just like so into it.
Well, the song that they were joking about, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with Spanish music, but it was Celia Cruz, La Negra tiene el tumbao.
I don't
Yeah,
know, but
no,
it
no.
sounds really cool.
It was a tumbao. She was to one side. But anyways, so a big part of the show as well is nostalgia, like what you listened to as a teen, you know, when you went through that phase. You know, it wasn't a phase. How was that for you?
Honestly, like I think what I listened to growing up, some of it I've really come back to, like a lot of punk music, and like some just like alternative rock, like Dandy Warhols. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're from the West Coast, and like, yeah, just like, I don't know. I feel like not to like set myself apart, but like when I was in high school, in the 2000s, like pop punk and like screamo and stuff like that was really popular. It still is. I mean, it's obviously made such a comeback, but I don't know. It wasn't really like, I went to the shows and stuff because it was a lot of fun, but I don't know. Like it wasn't really my vibe.
Okay.
And you know, nothing against it, because it's definitely like because if I'm in a bar and I'm drinking and Fall Out Boy comes on, like I'm gonna sing along. Like it's just gonna happen.
And New Fall Out Boy has like musically matured in such a way that their latest album came out a couple days ago, or maybe last week. I don't know. But yeah, it's called the So Much for Stardust, and I feel like it was what Panic at the Disco might have wanted to grow into, and it didn't. But Fall Out Boy does a very good job at it.
Okay, because Panic went like the pop route.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Panic, because I like pop. I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna. This is the second show where I'm bagging on Panic at the Disco right now, but I like pop. There was just something I was not vibing with.
Yeah.
Like the mainstream music, it was okay. There was even some songs that when I did go to the concert, because Marina was opening, that my boyfriend even went. He was like, I didn't even know he sang this. Like, obviously we've heard it in other places, but didn't even know it was Panic. But there was something about Panic's first album that was just so iconic.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
it's hard to get that in an album.
I admire what is his name? Brennan Urie?
Brennan Urie.
Yeah, I really admire his ambition and resilience, because like and I didn't know this till my bass player told me. He like I guess all the members kind of quit the band after like in like 2008, and he just kept going, and he was just recording all the instruments himself.
Yeah,
and I think
touring musicians.
Yeah, and I think maybe the drummer is the only one who stayed. One person stayed, but the other members left, and he continued to make albums. Like there's this one album that was like totally inspired by the Beatles. I liked that one a lot. I can't remember the name of it right now, but
we're on the same boat. I can't remember the names or anything.
Yeah, but I saw them. My friend took me to see them back in 2017.
Okay.
And it was just I thought it was just so cool to see them like obviously their sound has changed, but like seeing them at BB&T Center and in this huge arena, when the first time I saw them was at America's Backyard. At Revolution, they weren't even like big enough to play.
A stadium.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So 11 years later, they're playing in a stadium, and like for me as like a musician, that is really inspiring, because like he just kept going despite, you know, this adversity and all this shit. He just continued to do it, and obviously he's very successful.
No, and you got to give him the props. He's a showman. Like, he puts on a very good show.
He really does. And his voice, like as a vocalist, I'm like, hats off to this man. Same thing with the singer from Fall Out Boy. Like
Patrick Stump.
Yes, he is very good. But I, you know, in high school, I was listening to a lot of this stuff, but I was also like really into like 90s alternative. And I still like, cause I do cover gigs. So I'll definitely throw like Sex and Candy and like stuff like that into my sets, cause it still jams out to me.
No, good stuff. That's where the age difference is, because you're like, I listened to that in high school, and I was like, I listened to Fall Out Boy when I was like 8.
Yeah,
But
yeah, man.
No, and I love hearing how people come from such different musical backgrounds. So I'm not huge into 90s rock because I wasn't around for it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for me, stuff like Fall Out Boy and Panic were the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Paramore was like, holy shit. So, no, I love hearing about that.
Yeah, when I remember being like 7 or 8 and hearing like Third Eye Blind and being like, oh my God, this speaks to me. And he's like talking about doing crystal meth. And I'm
Right.
like, hell yeah.
Yeah, you don't even know what they're talking about, which is the worst part.
Yeah, but then you look at the lyrics like years later, you're like, oh man.
Like, who let me sing this? I mean, completely off genre. But the other day I was listening to Pretty Ricky Grind on Me, and I'm like, I was like 6. No. Bauer 96 used to play it.
Yeah, man.
And you're just like, how did this even make it on the radio? Like, that's so inappropriate.
Yeah, I remember growing up and hearing Mambo Number 5. That was not really offensive or anything like that. I mean, I guess it kind of is because he's talking about.
I can't tell you the lyrics off the top of my head. Like, I know it exists.
You know the song,
yes,
right? Where he's,
but I can't like.
He's like naming all of these girls that he is having.
Yeah,
like,
a little
you know,
bit of Monaco.
yeah. You know, it
Oh,
still jams.
I mean, even 50s rock is still, it's double. I forget words in English. Double sentido, like double, 2 meanings.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
30 meaning under it. And
Yeah,
whatever,
exactly. And that's honestly like I don't know. My music taste continues to change. Like, and I don't try to. I just generally keep an open mind with like music. So like when I started this blues band, my sax player was like, "Dude, check out these albums," and I started really digging into like Delta blues from like the 60s, 70s. And yeah, I was just like, oh my God, like just like how have I not found this yet? You know?
Right.
And obviously through things like Spotify, as much as artists can hate on them for, very, rightfully they can hate on them. But yeah, like I've found so much music. I still continue to find music that just like I love finding a song that just totally when I hear it, I'm already thinking of like ideas for a song I want to write, and that still happens to me just on a regular basis, and it's a really good feeling.
I love talking to musicians that keep that open mind.
Yeah.
And I mean, not hating on anybody, but a lot of people that do walk in here are like, I love metal and it's metal. And then all of a sudden you start talking to them a little bit more and they're like, yeah, but I like electronic music too. And it's like, we're not all just one shade.
Yeah.
Like there's so much music out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to move on to talk about your tattoos because you probably have some of the coolest tattoos I've seen yet.
Thank you.
That octopus thing.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I'm not sure. If it's a squid or an octopus, and I should know, but I don't. And
I was about to feel bad for not knowing.
yeah, I don't know. This sleeve is just started as like an homage to Florida, being from Florida, and just kind of really nautical themed. My sister and I have matching tattoos here with the roses. Yeah. And then this one kind of just she lived in Nashville for like 10 years. So I went up there in like 2013 and I was like, I want to get something. And like that was our thing. Like we go and get tattoos in like East Nashville. She had this shop where she'd go and like she'd shop at Costco and bring them like it's like I got you guys soap, and she's so sweet.
Yeah.
And so we go over there and just get tattoos. Like she has this one also, and yeah. So I saw this guy and I'm like, I want that. And this was a really painful one. Like,
Really?
Yeah, this area
That
right
spot,
here.
not fun?
Oh yeah, because if you go like this on your own skin, like that's kind of a sensitive. I don't know.
All
if
I
it
think
is
about
for
is that
you.
when I get like blood work, I don't like to think about this area.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can't look.
I don't look either. Yeah. No.
I'm such a wimp when it comes to blood.
No,
Like,
same. Anything like IV wise going in is like,
Yeah.
don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
The matching thing with your sister is really cute. I would call out my brother who got tattoos without me, but I don't want a berserk tattoo on my leg, so we're good.
Are you
No.
sure?
I'm 1000% sure. He
Okay.
he decided one day that he's just gonna do anime tattoos all over his left leg in black and white.
That's pretty cool.
Looks fantastic. I'm not doing it. I'd feel like a poser because I watch something and then I can't remember, the names or
Yeah.
half the plot. So it's like, I don't want to risk that.
Yeah, me too.
But no, I love whoever that artist is. Shout out to them. They do a great style.
It's a few different artists. Yeah, it was mostly done up in Tennessee. And
Good stuff.
Yeah, thanks.
Should have moonshine while you're up there too.
Yeah, I did. I have. And I don't remember. So
As the story goes. Well, I have a game. And this one
Uh-oh.
is Am I the Asshole?
I like this.
And you could your partner over here can take some notes to see what your reaction would be, because I don't
Uh-oh.
know if I agree with this guy. Am I the asshole for giving my wife a swear jar? My wife and I have been married for a year. I really love my wife a lot. She's an amazing person, but she has one big character flaw. She tends to curse and swear a lot. I come from a family where nobody ever curse. And I'm someone who doesn't really curse in my daily life. Furthermore, if we were to have kids, my wife's frequent swearing might be a bad influence on them, and it's just not a polite thing to do! ! So yesterday I spoke to my wife and explained to her that I was concerned that she was swearing too much. I told her that I know she isn't dropping F-bombs every few sentences or anything like that, but the fact that she does tend to curse a lot and it may not be a good influence when we have kids, she gets accustomed to the habit. I bought a swear jar and told her to drop a quarter in it every time she says a curse word, so that slowly she can wean herself off of it. Her response was to loudly accuse me of being a fucking dumbass and that I was behaving childish. I brought this topic up to her and wasn't intending to force her, but this is just something that might be a deal breaker for me.
I don't know.
Is he the asshole?
I think that can be that's a little bit like, I don't know. Obviously that warrants a discussion. And that I think that's between two people in love. But
We're unfortunately butting in right now.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm gonna have to say that he is the asshole because we're using swear words right now, and I know how therapeutic it is for me. It's been proven to be therapeutic to use swear words when like you're angry or frustrated or something, and it's like I know that when I'm driving anywhere in Miami and I say fuck, I feel a lot better after I do. So it sounds like he came from like probably an uptight family, and I don't know. That's his thing. Maybe he needs to work out. But since there aren't any children in like
the house,
yeah,
right?
in the house, right? Then what is like? It just seems a little controlling. I'm gonna say he's the asshole.
I got a question. Like, you married this person and you didn't realize that they were cursing? Like, you made it past the altar to be like, oh, you're swearing too much for my liking? So, yes, swear away. Swear, no swear jar.
She does, and we both do, and it's great. I love it.
I didn't know it was therapeutic. I feel like you were about to pull out, like, a whole psychology report on that.
I actually got it right here.
Yeah, like,
No.
I actually knew you were going to ask me this, so... But, yeah, no, some people are really freaking stupid when it comes to that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to plug in. Shameless plug moment.
I will.
Promote everything you want.
Okay. I just started a side project with my bass player called Keef Urban, and Keef with an F.
That's a little misleading because I feel like that's just going to be one person on stage named Keef Urban.
Well, it's Keef.
Keef.
Keef. Yeah, like weed Keef.
Ah.
Yeah.
For me, it was Kief.
Yeah,
or something.
because Keith Urban is a country singer. So I guess I'm really going to have to enunciate the F when I say Keef Urban. He came up with that name, and I think it's hilarious because we made a dance song together. I like pop music also, and this one's definitely like a pop sort of like almost like 90s dance style song. And I went over to his home studio to record something else, and he just started playing this song, and I was like, dude, what is this? This is awesome. And we shot a music video for it last month. We're dropping the single on April 20th, 420. It goes with the name.
In good fashion.
Yeah. And that song's called Favorite Dream. So we're dropping the music video and the single And on Instagram, we're Keef Urban with 3s instead of E's because some guy took Keef Urban and he doesn't even post. He never made a post.
You should DM him, be like, yo, I'll pay you for this.
Yeah, and then never pay him.
Right.
No, it's kind of messed up. I got you on like $3.
Exactly. Like, dude, here's $10.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm really excited about it. Yeah, and other than that, we're gonna be dropping singles with Monaco Slim this summer. We've been recording them for quite a while. We've been working on them, and it's just so much goes into making a song that like it's you record it one place, like you make the music, you record it somewhere at a studio, you send it out to we sent like all the different tracks out, the guitar, the kick drum, the snare, all the different stems sent out to LA. He's mixing it. We're sending it somewhere else to get mastered, So it can be
a process.
It can be like a cumbersome process, but honestly, it's worth it in the end. Just finally have that song. Be like, we did this.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm excited for you with all these projects. We're here to support you in any way that we can as a podcast and as a human being. And catch you next time on a Senior Citizen podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.